Thank you for attending the Week of Kindness. Coming up next is another powerful, impactful, amazing speaker. Get your notepad out, get your pen. Let's get ready and enjoy.
Hi everyone, I'm Karina, author assist, and I am so happy to be part of this wonderful event, Kindness and Gratitude. I'm here to talk about publishing a book and to bust some of those myths that you might already have heard of. Everybody has got a book inside of them. So what's stopping you from writing? One of the biggest myths of publishing is that if you're traditionally published, you can sit back and let them do all the work while you sit back and watch the money come in. Oh, it's obvious that that's not going to be the truth. You know, everything takes work. In fact, to actually get your foot in the door of traditional publishers, it's not necessarily about how good you write and how good your book is. It's about what your social media presence is like and how many followers you have signed up on your newsletters and your website. Everything is to do with social media nowadays. And the publishers need to know that when you have that book published, that there's going to be some sales. They need to know that you've got people there waiting for that book. So to get your foot in the door, you need to have a good standing on social media and then, of course, have a good book. There are quite a few types of publishing nowadays. You've got the traditional publishing with the big five and the small press. And then you have hybrid publishing, which I will speak about in a minute. And of course, indie publishing, self-publishing. Then you have the ones that you need to be very wary of called vanity press. Let me tell you a little story why I know about vanity press. When I first started out, I had a book called In Times of Violence. Well, I have a book, and I always thought of it like the Outsiders on motorcycles. You know, Essie Hinton's Outsiders. So I assumed, you know, flashing lights and dreams like you do, that it would get into all the school libraries and be as popular as her book. She's the reason I became an author, so I assumed I would have the same success. But after so many, I won't say how many, but so many rejections, I decided to go and publish it myself. Now, at the time, self-publish wasn't a really big thing, and there were people that unfortunately were preying on authors that were so desperate to get their book published that they'd pay anything or they'd do anything. Well, this publisher would call themselves a Christian press. I put it in quotes because they made a big thing about them being Christian. They did indeed publish my book. They sent me a copy so I could proof it. I was ecstatic. I was in hospital at the time, actually, and my husband brought the book in. And if you can imagine a Greek hospital full of these old ladies and this English girl jumping up and down on the bed, crying, holding and grabbing this book. And yeah, it was weird, but it was an amazing experience. And for those that have had that experience, I mean, it's difficult to tell you how much so much work goes into writing a book and then publishing it. And so to have that baby holding, it's like a baby, you know, to have your book in your hands is such a wonderful experience. So I was ready to publish my next book with them. Well, in that time, there wasn't such thing as ebooks, so there was no Kindle. Amazon was paperbacks. Lulu was one of the top places to publish your paperbacks. And so I ordered plenty of paperbacks to sell because couldn't sell online. So I had to sell them around the bars and clubs of the resort where I worked and lived very close by. So I used to go round to all the people drinking in the bar and just saying, "Hey, I'm an author. Check out my book." Gosh, wish I had that confidence now. But I sold many, at least 10 or 11 every day. So I was ordering more and more books, and one order, I think, of 40 books never turned up. And I emailed them, and they were giving me excuse after excuse. And I didn't I didn't click. I didn't see the red flags. I never heard of Vanity Press before. So it wasn't till I got an email of a guy who was representing about 6 authors that were taking the publisher to court, and he asked me if I was having any problems with them, and I told him the situation. Well, I'm in Greece, in case you didn't know. I'm in Greece, the island of Corfu. I know I have an English accent. I was born in Britain. I am from England. So I couldn't go over to England where they were doing the court dates. And this was English Vanity Press. They called themselves Meadow Books. Meadow Books, that's it. And so I did a deposition, signed it, and sent that into the courts. And we actually won the case. And we were going to be compensated. The judge said you owe them, this much money, blah, blah, blah. And then they declared bankruptcy, like they've probably done many times. And we didn't get any. We didn't get to see a penny. The following week, they were back out there with a different name. Just a warning, they are still out there. So many Vanity Press out there. If you're asked to pay money to publish a book by a so-called publisher, then get those red flags waving. If it all sounds too good to be true, you should hear a few sirens. The best thing to do is actually go onto Google and Google their name, and then go through at least 4 or 5 pages. And if there's any negative press about that publisher, it will be on there. Predator and Editors is another good place to go and check before you sign on the dotted line with anything. Double check on Google. Any bad press, it will be on Google, and you don't want to make a mistake with the Vanity Press. Now, hybrid press is new. Well, it's newer than the other ones. Basically, what happens is that you bring something to the table, and the brings something to the table. So say you go, they're going to publish a book. You bring the cover and the line editor, and they have the development editor and the formatter and ARC readers or beta readers. So you're basically sharing the cost between the two of you of what it would cost to publish that book. And the same with the marketing. You could see a good marketing promo, speak with them, tell them how much it is, and they will either say no, it's up to you whether you want to pay it yourself, or they will agree and pay half. Now, depending on what you decide to do with the marketing, then depends on the royalties you're going to get. So if they pay more for marketing and advertising, Google ads, Amazon ads, then you'll get less royalties. But it's all done by contract. And I'm with a hybrid press I've been with for a few years. I'm very happy. I'm with a small press. I'm very happy. And I'm also self-published as an indie author. I have 14 books published. I am an international best-selling author, and a few of my books now have won awards, but my latest book, Broken Chains, which is a dark mafia thriller, is translated into 4 languages now, and it just won its 4th book award. And it's about to be narrated, which is rather exciting. I can't wait to hear that. Let's bust another myth about this one's about self-publishing, and I think you probably heard this one before. That self-published books are very low in quality of writing and full of errors and mistakes because they haven't been edited. Now, that might have been true when Kindle first came out and everyone could write a book. Nothing was stopping anyone from writing a book, and many did who shouldn't have done, but many did. And so self-published authors, indie authors, got a bad reputation because of all the bad books that were out there, and there were bad books out there. Nowadays, when you upload a book onto KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, it will actually go through your manuscript and tell you how many errors were in the manuscript before you can publish it. It also checks the cover and won't allow racy covers anymore. And so the standard of writing now has gone up. Well, it was fine before, but when Amazon released the Kindle, things changed. But self-published authors now are getting such a good reputation that big publishing, best-selling authors like J.K. Rowling are actually leaving their little contract and they're publishing the book themselves, knowing that they're getting all the money and they don't have to pay third, fourth party. So doesn't that tell you that indie authors are doing something right? Another self-publishing myth is that self-publishing a book is free. Actually, half of that is right, because to actually publish a book, it doesn't cost anything. The cost is to have the book ready for publishing. So you don't get your neighbour next door to read your manuscript because she was an English teacher. You don't get try and format the book yourself and get a rough cover. You have one chance to have this book become a success. And you've been working on this baby, and I keep saying baby because it really is. You've been working on this baby for so long that why would you put it out if it's not ready? Why would you publish if you can't afford to hire a professional editor, professional formatter, and a professional cover designer? These cost money, unfortunately, but without them, you have a subpar book, and it only takes 3 or 4 bad reviews and you won't get anyone looking at your book again. So if you think you are ready to publish a book and you haven't hired a professional editor, then just stop for a minute and think, doesn't your book deserve better? So another publishing myth, and this one is on traditional publishing. When you have signed with the Big Five, you can then live as a full-time author and have enough money and royalties to just write for a living. Hate to burst your bubble. Don't get me wrong, there are authors that do that, but the majority have a full-time job still, and writing becomes a side project because they're not making enough money to live on. It can happen. It has happened. Even self-published authors like Colleen, we all know about her books and how she did it herself, and I'm so happy for her. So it can happen, but don't think that if you get your foot in the door and your manuscript gets picked off that conference table with the other 4 and yours gets chosen, that you're going to get a six-figure royalty check. It may be nice to think of that. It may be nice if it happens. Yes, there are so many writers out there that get bestsellers. There are, but there are many others that don't. And even those that sell many books, it's just not enough money to live on. So how about freebie time? I have a gift for all of you people that are watching this now and have come out at, what is it now, 3 o'clock in the morning over in Greece. I think it must be about 5 Pacific and 8 EST, I'm guessing. I have no idea. So, but for those of you that are here and watching, thank you so much. And I would like to gift you a presentation on how to make a media pack. Now, as authors, this is something that's really needed for your marketing toolkit. So follow the link, pop over, sign up, and grab that presentation, and it will teach you what a media pack is, what you do with one, and how you compile one. And VIPs, I haven't forgotten you. You have something very special coming up, and apparently this has never been given before. So go and check it out. Follow that link and sign up and get my gift. Being a published author, holding that book in your hand is an amazing feeling. And it's a real powerful accolade to have, especially if it's a non-fiction book. It's showing that you're an expert in that field. It's giving you authenticity in what you do. It's perfect for when you're speaking on stages. It's super for when you have courses. And for those that have written or are going to write a fiction novel, to have that magical place that's been in there for so long in your hands, to have that story that has been in your heart all those years in print, it's an amazing feeling. And it's such an accomplishment to say that you are a published author, that you published a book. Well, Author Assist can help you with that. We assist with everything from brainstorming an idea through to publishing the book, the formatting, the cover, the promotion, the marketing, the media that's needed. We help in all aspects of publishing and selling of your book. Author Assist is 8 years old this month. We're in January now. I started Author Assist because I wanted to give back everything that I'd learned in the 27 years that I've been in this industry, because I was where most authors are now, holding that book in their hand, jumping up and down with joy, and then looking at it and thinking, well, now what? How do I get my book out there to people? How do people know about me? How do I get sales? Of course, back then it was more difficult, but now with digital marketing, it's easy to, and with Zoom, it's easy to find your readers all over the world, all over the globe. Media is a real powerful resource for promotion. I want to show you one of my packages that I do for authors with multimedia. I'm going to show you now. It's a press release that goes out to up to 1,000 journalists, a special guest on Behind the Pen podcast and videocast, a guest on the Author Assist radio show, which goes out live worldwide, a 30-second book trailer, a narration, excerpt for fiction, blurb and review for non-fiction, and a professional voiceover ad in a daily radio ad reel. How much do you think a package like that is worth? Well, I'm selling it for $1,247. However, I'm doing a very special for you as part of the kindness and gratitude event. You will get all of that I've just mentioned, everything you see on the screen, for a very special price of just $847. So that is a press release to up to 1,000 journalists, special guest on Behind the Pen podcast and videocast, guest on Author Assist show that goes out live worldwide, 30-second book trailer, a narration, excerpt for fiction, blurb and review for non-fiction, or an excerpt from your book, no problem there, and a professional voiceover that goes on a radio ad reel and will be played constantly throughout the day. That is my special offer for you, $847 for all of that. Stop share now. I want to thank you so much for staying with me and listening to my talk on publishing and busting a few myths that were out there. I'm Karina Kantas from Author Assist. Contact me. I hope you enjoy the gifts. And if you'd like to take me upon that offer, then you can contact me on authораssistbykk.com. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the rest of the event, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed that just as much as I did. Thank you so much for all of that great information. Hey, we're not done yet, so just relax. We're going to continue on with our next speaker in just a few moments.